you are. All right. Okay, are we ready to go live?
Or is that just telling us when to go? I will make an opening remark. And I will leave it to Chris then after that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, John?
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to this CES show. I'm amazed how many people are here today. As you well know, under the pandemic, I can never believe that I'm actually giving a talk with a mask on. And so is him. But I think today is very interesting. Everything's being live streamed. So many people cannot attend. I know people in Hong Kong, people in China, people actually in California. They all want to see this show to talk about the metaverse. So first of all, we also have food and drinks afterwards so that you don't have to be worried about it. And it's going to last about half an hour to 45 minutes. Very happy to talk to you after that. With that, Chris, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, John. Well, thank you for inviting me, first of all, to attend this and moderate our fireside chat. Oh, there's no fire here, but that's okay. It's informal is the point here. So we're going to talk about the roadmap from Solos all the way to the metaverse, whatever the metaverse is. And in fact, I think I'd like to start, the first question to you is, what is the metaverse?
Well, this is the most wonderful question. As you well know, metaverse is extremely popular. The last few months, you hear everything about metaverse. But in fact, metaverse has been around for a long, long time. Even when we're young, we always imagine a different universe. It's a fantasy world. Currently, metaverse seems to be, if you see something, then it's metaverse. That's not true. Humans have 5 senses. One is voice, all the voices, sound. The second sense is sight. We see things. These 2 are the most important of the 5 senses. Then you have touch. Then you have smell. Then you have a taste. So how do you define metaverse? So our definition is a continuum. It's a continuum of a physical analog world with this imaginary virtual digital world. You can go from very small amount to a very big amount. You can go from sound, also you can go to sight. Eventually it could be touch. And maybe even at the end, I don't know when, you will have the taste in there. Until you have all this, do you really have another universe? Right, so I think this is my long way to answer that. Mm-hmm. I think the metaverse has been around all the time. So our journey, and I can go back to the journey, is really started 30 years ago. When DARPA asked us, can we put a computer on the head? Right. Hands-free for the soldier. So we identified a couple of things that need to be done. It cannot be a CRT on the head. So we put a whole idea of solid-state screen, micro screen, have special optics to magnify it. Another thing they want is, what is the input-output? You're hands-free. We say it had to be voice. And the voice, because of the military, DARPA wants, can it be noise-free? So that in the battlefield, it can work. So therefore, we developed 2 technologies. One is a micro screen with optics. One is what we call now is that whisper technology. Mm-hmm. That allow you to have noise-free whisper, easy to hear, easy to communicate. So out of the noise-free whisper, we have the Solos, which we're going later on going to get people to talk about the Solos. And that's the first metaverse. I call it a sound metaverse. Sound is as important as sight. You cannot have such sight without sound. What your VR set with no sound? Forget it.
Hmm.
Right? So I think people getting too narrow about it. So that's the most important. So go ahead. I'm sorry. The long way to.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, when people look at a movie,
Yeah.
they always say that the sound is 50% of the experience, right? So why would that be different in a immersive experience or a virtual experience or an augmented experience? And you're right. We're only talking about two senses for the most part at this point. Sometimes you got a little bit of haptic, but it's sight and sound and haptic a little bit at this point. So if it's a continuum of experiences from the very minor to the very immersive, what's a good starting point? Is sound a really good starting point for this?
This is a very good question. If you look around you, we're all users, we're humans. What do you use for the sound? How big the market is? Almost everybody has a headset, has AirPod, okay? Make phone calls. Just think about the smartphone. The smartphone started with a phone, sound. Your smartphone started with sound. There was no screen there, right? But it actually connects us to the world. It's a sound universe. I can talk to people in Hong Kong, to Japan. So this sound started first. The smartphone started with a sound. Then you put a screen in there. This is exactly what we do. Solos like that, sound. Give a sound glass. But then eventually you want to see sight. So it has to be on the head. It has to be around you. It's not the AirPod. How are you going to put the screen in the AirPod? But AirPod sells 25 billion sales last year. 25 billion. It sells more than Tesla. It's just sound only. It's a little thing in the year. I think people have to understand. I mean, we do a lot of micro displays, so we can talk about it. People don't say, oh yeah, you don't have display. No, we have a lot of beautiful display. But we also say sound is very important. And I think after sound, we're going to put in display. So you're going to see two types of things going on. We're going to have sound and they're going to put displays in there.
Right. Well, actually, maybe this is a good time to invite Paul Baker to come up and talk about Solos, because these are sound glasses that are directly developed to solve simple sound problems. But Paul, please come up and join us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm Paul Baker. I'm COO at Kopin. And I'm here actually standing in for the folks at Solos. We're close partners with Solos company, and some of the Solos folks couldn't come here because of the pandemic. So I'm happy to step in because this is a fun product to talk about. As John and Chris have been saying, Solos is really about the audio universe. And one of the principles that John really instilled in Kopin is the idea of human first in terms of technology products. That, as you know, the world is littered with technology products that it was too much technology all at once forced upon the consumer. And it's more than sometimes than the consumer can digest. And so as John and Chris were just talking about sort of the incremental step toward metaverse, we believe there's one stop along the way that's audio metaverse. And so that's really the genesis of Solos smart glasses, which are audio-based. They have many of the functions that you guys are familiar with. You can take your phone calls, you can listen to music, listen to podcasts. It's got its own ecosystem, so you can utilize applications with the glasses. And it's got some really neat features, but one of the most important ones is, as I was just saying, human first. And one thing that we know is that if people don't feel good about how these things look on them, they will not wear them, no matter how good the technology or how fun the technology is. And so we've designed, or Solos has designed the glasses with that in mind. If you have a chance to go into the next room, you'll see that there is more than 50 different styles of glasses, sunglasses, blue light filter glasses. And one of the really unique things about Solos is what's called the SmartHinge. All the brains of the system are in these stems on both sides. They're removable so that the user can change the front plates to different styles, change it to sunglasses, so that their investment in the technology resides in the stems that go with them. So lots of people like different looks for different occasions, different uses. So that's one of the novel things about this that enables really a fashion sense with these glasses, in options for the customer. And one of the things, so why are these important? Why do people want them? As Chris and John were saying, is it's a step toward the metaverse further down the road, and it's a step that consumers can take and digest how to sort of evolve their use. So one of the
And
things,
if I may, it may not just be a step. It's a valid point that can be persistent point, because there are applications where this is all you need.
Yes, no, very, very true. And that's to that point, it's all you need. One of the things that we find is that while there's many uses for the glasses, what is very clear is that very specific uses resonate with certain people. So there's some people for whom they think of them as their work from home glasses. They wear them all day long. They're on Zoom calls and Teams calls all day long, and they just keep their glasses on literally all day long. If they wear glasses, they've got prescriptions. If they don't wear glasses, they have the blue light filter because they're on their screens all day. For other people, it's athletics, running or biking. They love that because they don't like running or being out on the street with something in their ear where they can't be sort of as aware of their surroundings. So for them, their starting point is running. But then because there's multiple uses, multiple applications, they start to branch out from there. That's their starting point. We see young people, students, like to listen to music while they study. Rather than have either one earbud or two earbuds in their ears, they can listen to these. They can have their blue light glass on as well. And interestingly, we in our own company, sometimes we have workers that work with one earbud in their ear, and we certainly discourage that. But the glasses really are sort of their option. What they're finding is, hey, I'm listening to something all day long. I need to be able to hear when somebody's calling my name or calling attention, or there's some noise around me. So it affords me that opportunity as well. So the key that we see is there's lots of things that you can do with these. It's listening to music, it's phone calls, it's podcasts.
I was talking to a guy today who uses them for watching the TV. It's not loud, but he can hear his children if he needs to.
Yeah. And there's applications, there's posture applications, there's other applications that it's compatible with Strava and other sports applications. So again, people have a very specific starting point, and then they kind of branch out from there. The wonderful thing about these is the technology, the other technology inside that, in fact, is one of the CES awards, is the Whisper technology that was really started at Kopin. It is a very unique technology in how it handles noise in a loud environment. So again, think of you're wearing these glasses in a restaurant or while you're walking down the street. I mean, you see in New York City, probably 50%, 40% of the people walking down the street have some form of earbuds in their ears. These glasses enable them to walk around without closing off their hearing to the outer world. But if they're, for example, talking on the phone with somebody, the Whisper technology blocks out all of that surrounding noise. So the person on the far end is just hearing the person's voice. They're talking to Tom. The voice sounds just like Tom. They're not hearing the sirens, the horns, and everything else that's going on around them. And that, as I mentioned, is called Whisper technology. That really started in Kopin and is used in these glasses as well. And then the last thing I would say is, really, if you haven't experienced 360-degree directional sound, these glasses have it. It's really a unique experience where you hear the sound as it's intended coming from different directions. So that if you're listening to either high fidelity music, it sounds like you're in the symphony hall. If you're watching high definition video, it often, as Chris was saying, sound is an important part of that experience. You're hearing the loud noise from over there. You're hearing the voice from over here or from behind you, et cetera. It's really unique. You guys should visit demo. Drew, who's here, will be able to demonstrate it for you after the talk here. So that's what Solos class is about. First stop on the way.
Well, so actually, let's talk about what the next stop might be. So as the metaverse is going to develop, there'll be much better communications, faster communications. There'll be access to cloud servers, edge servers. What sort of new functions for a voice glasses solution do you see coming? Like maybe instantaneous translation, for example.
Yes. So actually, John is wearing his Solos glasses. He wears them every day, all day, does all his phone calls by that. Most of the time, John doesn't carry his cell phone with him. He's got his cellular watch. And so applications like that, again, I talked about some of the foundational applications for people.
Yeah.
As this develops, we will bring those types of applications, and the consumer will branch into those types of applications that are possible with these glasses through their computer, through their watch, to have things like simultaneous translation for two people speaking different languages to be able to hear and speak to each other instantly.
Yeah, I think it's important. I want to make sure that Paul doesn't become a salesperson for Solos. He's not COO. He sounds like a marketing person for Solos. But the interesting about Solos, thank you, Paul. Yeah, thank you. I think the interesting about Solos or sound is that we try to create a universe, a sound universe. That's why he's talking about also spatial sound. It's not surround sound, it's spatial sound. It's 360-degree sound. It's open ear. It's not stick to your ear. So all these things are give you a natural experience with sound, but it's a digital sound. You can communicate with everybody around the world. Now we have to put in the display, the vision side.
Right.
So let's talk about the vision side, because the metaverse is really a multiple universe created by the digital contents that we have. Through internet, you can connect to everybody in the world. Whether it's a sound, whether it's a sight, you can have multi-players, multi-speakers. So the next thing is, let's put into this thing. We're supposed to put in the two things. Is the next thing, of course, the AR. You put augmented reality. But I think RealWear is still not here yet.
No.
Okay, the best part is that putting the augmented reality for the enterprise world, for the military world. We're very much in the military world, augmented reality. In fact, there are a lot of, Andrew are here. Andrew's here.
Okay.
We just talked about, we finished the sound. We're going into this augmented reality now. We're going to take the vision side into the glass. Of course, at the end, we'll talk about the virtual, the fully immersive experience. But we'll talk about the augmented experience. And we're very happy. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah,
Introduce
Andrew Krostowski. Krostowski. All right, Andrew, please join us up here.
Do you have your system? Yeah. Well, let's because it's on the live streaming. We want to see your latest hottest things.
Can you give him a microphone too, please?
Yeah. Andrew is the CEO and chairman of RealWear, and they just recently announced this hot product. Hi, Andrew. Thank you for coming. Could you hear so the camera can zero in on you?
Yeah. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for having. Sorry to be a little bit late here for CES. Yeah, I'd like to introduce you to the RealWear Navigator 500. So I'm Andrew Krostowski, Chairman and CEO of RealWear. And this device is the 8th generation of our wearable voice control technology. So this is a tablet computer you wear on your head, where we've replaced all the touch and gesture with voice command only in a 105 decibel environment. So literally, if you have an APK, you can make it happen on this device. Its focus is for industrial workers who work with their hands. That means frontline workers from oil rigs to manufacturing lines to doctors and surgeons in operating rooms. So wherever you can be a connected worker and get value from being connected information, real-time collaboration, this is the device we've developed.
It's a wonderful device, and Kopin, which is a partner, we're making the display and the optics for them.
Absolutely.
So I plug a little bit for the Kopin.
Yeah.
And also, actually, the RealWear actually is a very good partner for us for many, many years, as many of the people actually came from
Yeah.
Kopin. Yeah.
And you know, the problems that you're solving have been problems that have been around for a long time. I actually remember back in the mid and late 90s, I was working with a company called Zybernaut. Do you remember Zybernaut?
I don't, but
Belt-worn computer with a head-mounted display and a massive display out here that was, I mean, it could minimal functionality. Look what we can do now.
And not only can this do what it does today, but it's a modular future-proof platform. So in this device, this is a 48 megapixel camera sensor. It can be replaced by the user, and we can replace it with any other camera. So as camera technology is advanced, you can
Yep.
simply replace it with a different, more powerful camera. A fused thermal imaging camera is on our pipeline. The display and boom arm display technology is changing all the time.
Yeah.
This is also able to be changed at the service level. So we've really built this thing to be future-proof so that a life cycle for an investment for an industrial partner can depend on it for 3 or 4 years and know that they can put exactly the right product in the hands of their users based on their needs.
Yeah, it's a wonderful device. It's great for enterprise work. Thank you very much, Andrew. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thank you. So actually, what's kind of interesting about a product like that is the form factor. You've got this little display on a boom that it provides just a small amount of information in a look up or a look down kind of capability. That's just one implementation of augmented reality, right?
That's
But it solves specific problems where you have information snacking or a limited amount of information. So do you think this, well, actually, Andrew, come back up and answer, come on, answer another question
Yes,
for
the
us.
second very beautiful question.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely. Any questions?
Yeah.
so tell us about the applications where this is particularly useful, this form factor and this kind of voice and power and display capabilities.
Well, our belief is that,
Versus microphone here.
thank you so much. Is that better? It's so weird to do this with a mask on. You can't
I
tell
know.
exactly what you're saying. So, but I am smiling. The applications, right? It's as diverse as you can think of in terms of how a connected worker can get value. So the primary initial use case, which thousands of our customers use, we have over 5,000 global customers. We've shipped over 55,000 of these units that are deployed. We're going way past the demonstration phase
Sure.
of this activity. It starts with remote collaboration. So think of how we've worked as a hybrid work environment for the last few years. We've been working in Zoom, we've been working in Microsoft Teams or in Cisco WebEx or what have you. So today, someone has an oil rig that goes down, they can reach out and instead of putting somebody on a car to drive to a heliport to fly them out to the rig to solve the problem, they can connect real time, solve the problem quickly, and all of that downtime turns into value for the customer. And that's true whether you're making high-speed manufacturing for food and beverage, whether you're building automobiles, all those kinds of downtime activities where you're a field technician and how many times is, the technician goes out somewhere, doesn't quite know how to get the information.
Yep.
They can pull up the manual, they can do it hands-free, they can do workflow. So anything you can think of in terms of this idea of getting information, collaborating, documenting through workflow are all applications that make a big difference with our product.
Right. So what is the field of view on these typically?
Typically 23-degree field of view.
23, okay.
And that's important because you think, well, it could be bigger.
Yeah.
But you've got to understand that we're a digital second, reality first product. So think about your airline pilot. They're looking at the reality first. They're looking around, they need field of view. They need to see what's around them. And when they need information, he or she glances down at their instrument panel. That's what you're doing with our product. You're not living in that cognitive load environment. You're doing your work. And when you need information, you're glancing down and getting the information you need, whether it's a diagram,
Right.
a work instruction, or what have you.
Right, and I think that's a really important point is you don't need to be in a completely immersive environment, a wide field of view, whether it's augmented or virtual reality, to do important jobs in the market today.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the metaverse, and John and I both have talked about this a little bit. That there is absolutely value in this idea of digitization and sort of this immersive technology. but I don't want my head stuck in the metaverse when I'm next to dangerous equipment.
Right.
When real world consequences come from not paying attention to what you're doing. And that's where our assisted reality approach makes sense for those workers who are working with their hands in those kinds of environments. In the environment where that's not the case, absolutely there's degrees of augmentation, that whole spectrum from reality to sort of virtual reality that we all work on has the right place for the right tool.
Very good, Andrew. In fact, I could amplify that. I say it's coping by business model is in fact, get the voice, algorithm, display, the optics, and help everybody. We have to do the inside guy. That's why I want to make sure you understand we have to have display and optics in there. And later on, we're going to talk about immersive the same way.
Yeah.
We developed this display, the optics, the packaging for the modules for people use it. So we don't make the end user system, the real way of the world, actually go out there and market it. And he understands the market a lot better than I can. Okay. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
So we're going to now go more immersive now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you, Andrew.
If you have any questions, I'll be around to talk with you.
Right.
Thanks.
So I kind of see that the next step then is if it's a small field of view, glance up, glance down, information snacking, which is kind of what we're talking about here. Now you expand the field of view. You provide more SLAM kind of capabilities, provide more processing power. Do you see that as part of a valuable application?
Yeah, as we mentioned, this whole thing is a continuum.
Right.
You started with something. For us, we think we started with sound. Sound is all invisible. It's all around us. It's easier to handle. And it has a very big market already. That's what we do. The next thing we want to do is, how do we put the vision in there? Like the RealWear is a good example. You put in a second monitor next to you. That we're used to second monitor. We drive around, we look at the monitor all the time. The factory has a second monitor. It's an iPad. But this time it's a wearable, it's hands-free. So this is something that consumer, the user can accept right now. However, I always have that dream. When I was young, I always liked to read books. In some way, I put myself into a fantasy world. So I would like to say, why don't we make that ultimate metaverse glass? You put it on, you have a great size, natural sound like the ambient sound that you're used to. Then you see a screen. And the screen is so good, you don't even know what is real, what's not real. It's a little bit scary, okay? But you want to have this very large view, extremely sharp. You put it on, you don't have to fuss around with it. It's immediate work. When how that far away, I think the early version, if you look at the Oculus, it's in some way, consumer can accept that.
Mhm.
But I shall stop on there, let you ask questions.
Well, all right, if you want to talk about Oculus, you told me your grandson got an Oculus 2 for Christmas.
Yeah.
He put it on. Tell us about his experience.
Yeah. First of all, thank you to mention grandson. Not people, everybody know that this guy's old. My grandson, 13-year-old, with my son, we actually went to a vacation place. And they played this Oculus. They gave me the gift, but actually they give themselves the gift. So they played it for 3 days. They asked them a question. Say, what do you like about it and what you don't like about it? They obviously like about it. They play many hours with it. So I said, what's wrong with it? He said, first thing, my grandson say, I feel dizzy. I feel dizzy, and the mother came in to allow him only play 1 hour a day. I feel dizzy. Second, he said, it was too heavy. Even he says it's too heavy. It's very interesting. He's not with that worried about this thing sticks out. He just don't like it, the heaviness. The third, he said, the image is not sharp enough. It's okay for people to play games, but it's not real well. He knows it, right? It's not real well. And he, actually, to me, he also worried about latency. So maybe that's how it caused me dizziness. So that's the thing about metaverse. Metaverse really is a true metaverse glass should be like our solar glass, like this. Solar glass now is 30 grams, same size, same weight as your sunglass. Can we get there? You see this, this is why my dream's over there. There's a metaverse glass that will at least give you like a portable IMAX theater. a personal portable IMAX theater. To this end, we actually achieved that. It took us many years. If you have time after this call, you're going to look at our recent, which we call P80 with that new display, OLED display. You look into it, you say, you got it. Not the end, you got the beginning of what I call a metaverse glass. And this such glass will be pretty light. And thanks to Panasonic, actually, Panasonic through their subsidiary came out with this metaverse glass. In fact, I think they got a lot of publicity on this. I think it was in Financial Times yesterday now. And they use our display, micro OLED display, and our pancake optics. And maybe we should introduce our
Iwasa-san, are
president.
you here?
Yeah,
There you are.
he's the president of it. Come over here.
Shiftal, please,
Yeah.
Iwasa-san.
Where's your set? Oh, you think you can't bring your set with you?
And
Yeah,
can
hold
I
the
have
glass.
a-
Sure, go get a video. Say, yeah. I just,
Okay. Well, while he's going to get that,
yeah.
let me ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think are the requirements for, let's call it a next generation VR glasses solution? The technical
The
requirements.
technical requirement. I believe that ultimately that I think people, the consumer now, we should talk about consumer.
Okay.
The enterprise world and defense world will do a lot of other things.
Okay.
I mean, you know, we are in the F-35 helmet. The helmet is $400,000. Okay, it's a truly fantastic AR helmet. It sees 360 degrees night and day.
Right.
Okay, night and day degrees. But I think for consumer, I think the eyeglass cannot be too heavy. I really truly believe 200 grams is probably the maximum they can use.
Okay.
For long period. Short time, Oculus is around 500, 450. I do believe my grandson is correct. Second is visibility. If it's true metaverse, you want to see image that you cannot tell. It's still garbage, it's 3D, but you look at it, it's matte finish. You cannot see any grains. We're almost there. However, the image is only about 150-inch screen. Eventually, you want to get bigger screen, like a IMAX theater. But you cannot make it big with graininess in the screen. I think a lot of people try to make it big, but the image is grainy. This is like the early days of projection TV. Very big, but it's ugly. Nobody buys them. Nobody buys them. It's all rejected, right? So same thing with 3D. You pick another glass, it's really easy. With this type of thing, you automatically get 3D. Automatically, the display should be very high resolution. Ours is 2.6 by 2.6. I didn't want to go too big image, 150 inch. That you can see a matte finish. You cannot tell. You go in there. So if I want to go higher, you have to go higher resolution. I think the idea is you need about 4K by 4K on each eye. Then you get about 8K in the stereo.
Well, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah,
That's a marketing thing. I want to come back to
So
that.
I'm sure you want to come
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Iwasa-san, you want to come up?
Yeah, you get the unit now. This is the Panasonic one. They just announced it, I think 2 days ago. They're using the
Yeah, can you get the
2.6K by
microphone too,
2.6K micro OLED. And then use pancake optics. Use
Right.
all plastic pancake optics now. And it's it's quite very light now, right?
Yeah, quite very light. It's totally 250 grams only.
Mm.
Quite lightweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
wore it.
tried it.
It's-
It's quite
it is-
comfortable.
It's comfortable.
Oculus is 450.
450 or 60.
Yeah.
And it has the diopter adjuster function right now.
Yep.
So these eyeglass myopia guys like me, it's nothing to use eyeglass.
Right.
And quite comfortable to use long hours because someday I spend on 6 hours or 10 hours in the metaverse right now.
Wow,
So
wow.
but in
He's
the
young.
future, within 2 or 3 years, maybe you guys spend so long time in the metaverse because you guys already using the smartphone every day. Sometimes Sunday or Saturday, or your sons using the smartphone 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours.
That's true.
It's like PS5.
Mm.
Maybe your son is spend a long time in the PS5, right?
I-
It's 7 months.
His mother would not allow it.
So,
Go ahead. This is the latest, the hottest invention right now.
yeah, we're gonna launch this product in this spring. The price range is around 900.
Okay. Okay.
So purely focusing to the heavy users of the metaverse.
Right.
So the low end and mid end, there's a middle company will be catch the market, but the metaverse is quite spread out. So we're gonna maybe the high end customers has a different type of use case. So we are focusing to the wire because the heavy users don't use it long time, so no need to use battery.
Mm.
And also to remove the battery, then to make it much more lighter.
Right. Okay. So there's diopter adjustment for each eye, and there's an IPD adjustment.
Yeah, of course, you can change the move.
Right.
Point.
And this one gives you about 250-inch screen TV, right? Around the FOV give you
Yes.
around 250,
Okay.
which is very large. 250. How many people has 250-inch screen home?
Like that need this type of the room, right?
Yeah. So what are the applications you see for the first use of this?
First use of the glass application is a VR chat.
VR?
VR chat is most biggest
Okay.
VR-based metaverse service.
Interesting. Okay.
They are still the small company, but quite the high speed leading up. So
Okay. Well, then that is kind of a long use
yes.
application, I would suspect then, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. And how about games? You see that as a
Yeah,
viable first?
Metaverse means you can do in the gaming in the metaverse. So the metaverse in the gaming is not the different dimension. It's a completely different dimension because once you go into the metaverse,
Yep.
you can do the metaverse is the same as the real. So you can the gaming in the real, right?
Yep.
There's the table, so you can do in the trump game or the chess game, whatever.
Mhm.
So it's same as. So once you go into the metaverse, you can enjoy the game. So of course the grass can be used for the game.
Okay. Okay. Available in just Japan or?
At first, maybe we're gonna start from Japan, but quickly start to the business in US.
Okay. And what's on your roadmap? What's next after this?
That's a secret, but of course they're much more lighter and
Uh-huh.
much more comfortable, and also the no wire.
No wires. Okay. So what do you think, Wi-Fi 6 or 5G? What's the best way to connect to? A source.
That's quite a good question. So Wi-Fi 6 is better for our use case because our customer is a high-end metaverse customer. But sometimes the 5G is quite good related with the cloud-based rendering. So because a PC-based metaverse is so beautiful and so good the experience, like a 250-inch TV.
Yeah, 250-inch.
Experience.
Yeah.
Well, of course, in the future, you like to enjoy the good metaverse in outside.
Yeah.
So, but the smartphone processor is raising up every year, but the PC processor is also raising up every year. So
True.
The breakpoint is the super high-power computer on the cloud and rendering on the cloud. Very beautiful. PC
Which would be
based.
better for 5G,
Yeah, so
probably.
5G.
Yeah.
That is one of the features.
Right. Yeah, especially in industrial applications where they can set up very high bandwidth 5G networks, right?
Yep.
Yeah, especially millimeter wave.
Millimeter.
I want to see
Yeah,
millimeter
yeah,
wave.
I need to try that, but no one does that.
Ah, okay. Great. Thank you
Okay,
very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's very interesting, and I really enjoyed that Panasonic was doing. Panasonic actually has worked with Kim Coping on this metaverse glass for about 4 years. We tried to develop the display, tried to develop the pancake optics, but when they're getting close to the product, they actually move into a subsidiary which is fully owned, run by very young people. He's the president, and push this product out. He understands the consumer, the user's case.
Right.
And that gives me a lot of confidence because big companies can run like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, okay, it's ready. The first round, let the young people push it out. And you can see it. I mean, he's obviously one of the youngest people in this room, and that he's running. So I think there's a lot of future, but the real metaverse class is still some time away. Remember, not on this sound, not on the voice, but you have touch, you have a lot of stuff, and you have to get image maybe bigger than 250 inch. Maybe you want to get a 400-inch screen, something like that. And that's where is another challenge going on.
Right.
Okay, go continue on, Yo. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's come back to the marketing question, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, some metaverse classes people will say, well, we have an 8K display, but it really means it's two 4K by 4K displays, which is not really 8K. So do we have a marketing problem here? Do we need to have the marketing police talk about the resolutions? Or is pixels per degree really the right way to evaluate?
It's a very good question. Maybe it's a good time for me to introduce Chris again. You know, he's the executive director of the 8K Association. He's very sensitive to this word 8K.
I guess so.
Okay. So when we mention 8K, he's getting bent out of shape. Okay. So it is true. As you well know, there's a big debate in the science area, engineering area versus marketing area. Now you can look at the 8K TV, your two eyes looking at one screen. So it's 8K. Nobody debate with that. Now you have two 4K TV on your eyes. Now each one's in one eye. What is this? Is this 8K? Because it's two screen, right? Two eyes see it in two screen. Right. So the big question in the military for a long time, what do you really have? We know it's more than 4K. Each one is 4K. But is it really just added up, become 8K? Or is somewhere in between? So Chris and I argue about this, right? The marketing guys on the VR glass is going to add it up. So two 4K one automatically become 8K. If it's true or not, we don't know. There's studies done by the military. They're thinking somewhere in between, maybe a square root of 2.
Yeah. And that's for a stereoscopic image.
That's probably one, yeah.
Right. Now, suppose you start to add multiplanar images, start to go to light field displays. How do you measure resolution? What does the resolution even, is that definable at that point?
So what Chris is saying, it's just like TV now. I always think 4K TV is good enough. Now, of course, he had this association with 8K. I tried to buy 4K TV to last month for Christmas. He asked me to stop. He said, in a few months, it'll be 8K TV. So why do you want to get yourself outdated? So I think the real true VR metaverse class is going to be a continuum. Just like cell phone, each generation comes out better, higher resolution, bigger screen, lower weight, higher performance. And it's going to last for a while. The real cell phone, I think the tipping point with the iPhone was 2005.
No, like 13 maybe.
13. So yeah, it's about 8 years. And now it's almost, I think it's good enough that I probably would not change every 3 years, maybe every 3 years.
Right.
So I think the metaverse glass, I think the Panasonic one is a wonderful one. And I think people will buy, if people will use it, the high-end people, big gamer always drive the technology. But really, every year, every 18 months, you will get new one. What we try to do is give them better optics, thinner optics, bigger view, and better display to enable all the people to make out the best VR glasses. We also make display for military. It's the augmented one.
Yep.
Different optics, and for RealWear. Then we also do all the get involved all the sound. They want to give you the sound. There'll be some of the people here I know that the last couple of days talking to me, and some of their ambition is shocking. Right? They wanted us to do display, maybe some optics, maybe. But I think the metaverse world is a continuum.
Yep.
And it's multifaceted. There's no simple answer. And everybody say, oh yeah, we have digital trends you were talking about. Digital, of course, the camera, you can take care of this, turn everything to digital. But that's still not metaverse. Let's just give you a static digital image. There's no sound, it's not moving part. And a lot of people go crazy about digital trends, which is good, but it's just a very small part of this journey.
So we're actually running out of time.
Oh, we do.
Yes, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So let me kind of maybe sum up maybe what I think I've heard.
Yeah.
I think Kopin and your partners are focused on applications that solve real world problems, that you want to add augmentation where it adds value, where it solves specific problems, and not create solutions that are maybe in search of problems to solve. It's easier to pick out a simple problem and add one technology than to try and add 30 technologies and solve every problem. I think that's kind of your philosophy, but you tell me.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, if you look at the journey, today is a journey. If you have time, you should walk around. You start with display, then we have a lot of military. You're going to see guns. You're going to see helmets. So we are actually in all the defense systems using AR, VR, training. So that area, we pretty much dominated now. So the next thing we try to do is to help all the enterprise world. Realware is a great example. Okay, so these are all metaverse. That combination of digital world and physical world depends how much you interface them. And we work with Solos to change the whole thing on the glasses, on the audio glasses. But my ultimate dream is different. I said, can we put it all together, put a glass on, then my grandson say, voila, this is what I want. Well, where's that? I hope that I get it there before he becomes an adult. So yeah, we'll probably have 3, 4 to 5 years to get to there. But I think the Panasonic is a big step. I really think Panasonic did a good start. So we have something now, it's only 200 some grams. Remember, I want something less than 200 grams. He say that next year maybe, you'll get there. 200 grams. That is very many grams larger than the Oculus 2, who actually sold around 10 million units the last 24 months. It's not a small thing. They sold 10 million units. Then there are people here want to give us, they say, can you give us something like a 500 inches screen? Yeah, give us 3 years. We wanted the display instead of 2.6, we could go to 4K, 4K by 4K. So I can combine them and got to tell Chris, I have an 8K. Okay,
Fine. Let's stop there.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Yeah, okay, there's a quick question.
Yeah.
Well, it's running out of time. It's an urgent question. I don't want to talk about after that.
You
Yeah,
got the whisper technology, you got the sound.
yeah,
Now you've got half the weight
yeah.
and the best visual. Where do we go from here?
I think the sound part is very good part. I think the next thing is the sound is, let's face it, once it's solved that, we want to solve the hearing part. So we want to make the sound glass into a hearing glass. It's a personalization. So everybody say, I hear music, I want more bass, or some people, older people, or some people have more hearing challenged. The sound glass will turn into a hearing glass using digital things. On the VR side, on the AR side, I really believe, I think Realware already going there. This augmented reality, it had to be the heads had to be smaller, lighter, and a better image, and then maybe a little bit easier to view. And that part I think is very close. Maybe 1 or 2 years we'll get there. The VR side, I think the Panasonic, Ishiwa-san said very good. Let's keep it below 200 grams, and get my son, hopefully my grandson or son doesn't get dizzy, and use our 4K TV, or 8K TV, depends how you define it. And that's only a couple years away. And we are behind the scene. The reason a lot of people don't know about Kopin is if you walk through it, you have military systems, AR systems, enterprise systems, now consumer systems. We're actually all in there. All the companies basically spun it from us. So it's time for us. I think this is one thing to say. We actually did a lot of good stuff for people. And we just want to say, we are inside a lot of systems that you guys are using. And then again, if you have a very interesting system, we want to hear about it and we're going to help you.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Gotta do that. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Yeah.
He's the AK guy. You want to buy AK TV, talk to him.
Thanks.
Was it okay? It's very good. Is that you enjoy it? Yes. We will try to get the AK. Yes. That's that. Eat some food. Eat some food before you. Otherwise, we circle around.
Miller
talking
time?